Haiti Biz news show. Today is the 20th of September, and we're here bright and early. It's 7:20, guys. It's 7:20, guys. I know it's you guys. It's usually the 11 a.m. show, but there's some things that I have to run through today that I really can't really talk about. But you know, it's going to be really exciting stuff when it drops. It necessitates me being here earlier. So those who are able to catch this live at the unusual live time, welcome. Appreciate you. Appreciate the fact that you had a chance to have a flexible lifestyle, perhaps, that allows you to watch. In fact, it might even be better for a lot of folks, actually. You know, this is before folks start getting their day going. You know, between church and a bunch of different things. If you are able to catch this, great. If not, it's pre-recorded, so you're watching this after the fact at the time you usually know to watch it. Fantastic, right? As usual, I'm going to run in the background here. Give me about 3-4 minutes. Try to be really quick today, and what I have to do in the background usually, so we can get back on this. It's probably going to be a pretty short show as well, as I try to get out of here at a particular time. But in any case, I'll be right back, and we're going to do what we do per usual. Right? Bear with me here. Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz news show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here to do. News show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. You know, Haiti Biz news show. It's Sundays weekly. This is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz news show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Right? Haiti Biz news show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz news show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here to do. Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. You know, Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. It's SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. And we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we're doing here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here to do. I think it might be time for a new updated intro. What do you guys think? We'll work on that. Stay tuned for next week. Eddie House, hello, yo, welcome. This is a really, really early show. Don't expect a lot of folks to be in the live this morning because we're so darn early, so out of the norm for us. As I was saying at the top of the show, we have a lot of things we're trying to work on today. We have a busy schedule, busy itinerary. And so it's necessitating me basically drinking my coffee live on air. It's really early, guys. I'm not an earlier riser per se. You know, usually I'd still be rolled up in bed. But take a look at the dedication. Take a look at dedication. You know, I have an obligation to the folks who use me as a news source to let you folks know what's going on. And additionally, I'll be honest with you though, I think I mentioned this before. I do this really for me because I'm keeping, even though this is the thing, even though I'm in Haiti, and you guys know this, I'm in Haiti, right? There's a lot of things that happen that I don't know about. Like I live, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm day to day here, right? You know, anyone who runs a business, you know, knows, right, that you got your blinders on and you're focused on what you are doing, you know, trying to get your payroll hit, you know, for the month. You're trying to get your revenue targets hit, right? And so as you're trying to do this, right, you kind of just tune anything that doesn't have any specific relevancy to what you got going on, right? Which isn't good. You know, in this country, you have to be on the pulse of what's going on. That's really important, right? Because you don't want to be running an errand. The next thing you know, there's a massive manifestation all around you. And you're like, what's going on? Oh, well, wow. Yeah, they overturned the president yesterday. Oh, I should have been watching the news. Hey, you know, it happens in it, right? And so, you know, I do it partly for me, but, you know, as I do it, I'm like, man, other folks need to know this stuff, right? And so here we are, right? Bah, toujours me dit que dans commencement nous baguer pile respect pour là et c'est la raison que je parti dans commencement pour dire que espace ça c'est un espace que pour monde qui est là-bas qui monde qui pas peut-être haïtien pour faire suivi ce nouvelle là il est très important comme haïtien pour que les gens côté que monde du monde je connais anglais c'est un langage international que tout le monde connaît il y a recevoir une base d'information que yo ka comprendre yo ka ouais que il y a un autre niveau de activité qui dans pays parce que celle ba yo recevoir dans mes programme pa yo par rapport connaître Haïti son pays noir il va pas jamais montrer même on seule image des fonctionnements dans pays c'est toujours les mauvaises images les mauvais puis mauvaise histoire qui a passé là-bas. So, simplement, nous faisons une émission ça pour une nouvelle. Nous ne pas cacher qui mal, non, mais nous allons avec Regarde on tête fouette, on analysis qui la donne, qui bah, j'aime remettre sur patinoire. Et so, moi, des excuses, parce que toujours, il y a un monde qui a entré sur live là, qui a dit, yo, ça passe là. Qui ça va passer? Regardez un monde qui est fréquent, là, parle sur Haïti, et il n'y a pas de respect pour nous, il n'y a pas de comprendre lui, et tout ça. Et le monde qui dit ça, je dis d'ailleurs, il y a plus de côté d'occasion d'information, il y a Radio Guinée, il y a Radio Métropole, il y a Guy Wewe, il y a Johnson Napoléon, il y a tout le monde. Il y a trop de monde qui nous a reçu par nouvelle nous. On va quitter petit espace là pour les gens qui basent pas peut-être créole ou peut-être une préférence pour anglais, pour recevoir nouvelle là tout. Okay, so c'est ça. So just want to give folks a little career disclaimer per usual. You know, this is a bit of a space here just for folks to get the news about Haiti and get it in a way that's fair and balanced, right? Because if you go to CNN, you only hear about CNN when there's a crisis or there's a particular negative, extra negative story. You only get news on Fox when they can show very happily that a black nation is doing poorly. And Miami Herald only specializes in very negative news. Once a sprinkle of something positive happened in the country would be great. And so we're a fair balance here. We talk about the things that are productive, that are moving the country forward, but also we do talk about things that are slightly negative. But again, negative, we're not hiding it, but it has to do specifically, because understand something, everything that's negative in the country is politically based, period. Haiti has one problem. Believe it or not, you drive around here, you see the poverty, you see the trash, you see the lack of electricity, lack of infrastructure. Guess what? If you start tracing where the problems are, right, and you go to the source of every single problem Haiti has only one problem, only one, and that problem is let me go ahead and block this user. All right, there we go. The problem is politics, period. Haiti has a political problem, period. No other problem. And the moment we can fix our politics, every other problem, it's like a domino, every other problem would be fixed, right? And so, but yet we avoid politics here. Not that we want to avoid our problems, but because everyone focuses on this, but yet how can there ever be true democracy if there isn't? But like this, if the electoral body of Haiti is too busy focused on getting their next meal, right? How can they ever elect political leaders that have a 10-year vision, right? And I don't see it happening. And so that's why we talk about economics here, because economics gives people what? The capacity to feed themselves beyond the next meal, and then allow themselves to think about, well, maybe I shouldn't elect this guy who's just giving 1,000 good. Right? Let me elect someone who actually has a vision and purpose for the country. Right? But anyhow, that's the big small intro of what we have going on here, and I think that explains why we're doing what we're doing. As folks come in, everything's going to be read live on air as much as time allows me to. Remember, we're going to leave a little bit earlier today. Might be no longer than an hour and a half today, actually. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Per usual, remember we have this channel, YouTube SeeJeanty, have a lot of stuff going on. In fact, we just dropped a really interesting video where I went and recharged my batteries out in La Visite. Anytime you go outside of Port-au-Prince and you're in the countryside, it's you recharging your batteries, let me tell you. And we went to an area called La Visite. It's a national park. I'm gonna say it again, a national park in Haiti, right? And located outside of just past Kinskoff, past Fursi, right? Folks know what I'm talking about. It's up in the hills, way up in the mountains, past the mountains. And we recorded it. We drove as far as we could. From there, we hiked and motorbiked to the we were inside, pretty deep inside. And then finally we stopped because even the motorbikes couldn't take us anymore. And they were like, yeah, we're going to probably pause here because we didn't really bring camping equipment and stuff. But nonetheless, it's on YouTube, SeeJeanty. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. And then I challenge you to share that video. Share that video because it provides a different perspective of Haiti that's sorely needed, right? That outdoor, beauty, really, And so do check that video out on the YouTube SeeJeanty channel. It just came out, right? As always, those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, remember we'll drop the banner down there. As you can see, we got two things going on the banner down there. We have the Square Cash. A lot of folks, want to contribute. A lot of folks, love what you're doing here, SeeJeanty. You want to. I'm subscribed. I share videos, but I want to do something more. I want to contribute directly because I know at the end of the day, green paper is what makes the world spin around. Let me contribute directly to what's going on here. And me, I do this whether I don't have any sponsors. I just do this because it needs to be done, right? Whether I receive $0 or $100, whatever, $10, $5, it's appreciated. And what we do with that money, by the way, we add it to the war chest. And I say the war chest in the sense that when we go out and we shoot outside episodes, I have a team. It's not just me. At least, on Sundays, it's just me. But for the actual episodes we produce, I have a team. So when I go out in the provinces, what you provide actually helps pay hotels, pay meals for the team, and really allows, us to do that outside content. Because I have folks, my biggest criticism easily is that, you're doing too much Port-au-Prince stuff, man. What is this? The Republic of Port-au-Prince? What about Jeremy? What about Jacmel? What about, Cap Haitien? What about Port-au-Prince? What about Hitch? What about St. Mark? What about that? Right? And I trust me, I want to give them some love, right? But when you're doing things out your own pocket, you're restricted geographically, right? And so adding to the war chest allows us to do the content that you're asking for us to do. But don't worry, we're gonna do that content anyways. In fact, I got plans end of November. We're gonna be out in Jacmel for a couple of days. Really look forward to that. And we're gonna finally do a Jacmel episode. So many people have been asking about Jacmel. We're gonna be doing that set of episodes. We'll be recording end of November, and then during December we'll be dropping them. But in any case, that's that, right? As always, again, drop comments. I'm gonna be reading them all live on air, right? And remember, guys, share the stream, share it wherever you're from, watching from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Make sure you watch the stream, right? So let me check out the comments. Reginald Jean Bart, hey Reginald, man, happy to see you very early in the morning. I know we're out the usual time per usual, but good to see you, Reginald. Happy to have you in the live this morning. Let's see, we got some folks on IG today. This might be the IG time actually. Let's take a look, see what folks are saying. We got Bean 15 waving back at me. What's up? Yam 08, good morning to you. We got Imanj. Jean guys, ça passe là, oui, en fond, ok, bien, posé, relax. Kid Solo 305, good morning. I know I'm early. Lazy 25, wow, I'm très bonnet, comme ça. Real estate renaissance. Thank you for that. Uncivilized people, unfortunately. It's it is what it is. Thank you, real estate renaissance. All right. She also says all the tariffs and let entrepreneurs have a fair chance. That's a whole other topic. Department of Defense, Pentagon info that most people on this live have no info about. Retype, amen to that. Great live, leaving for a daily job, no problem. Real Estate Renaissance, thanks for popping in, saying what's up. And remember, you can catch this after the fact. And anybody who's watching it on the IG right now, remember your IG is gonna end in an hour. I'm not gonna renew it because I refuse. IG needs to figure itself out. What's this live for an hour max? Wait, what are we, right? So you just hop over to the YouTube channel, SeeJeanty, same name as the IG channel, or the Facebook page, same name as the IG channel, and you can finish watching it, right? Latouche, good to see you, man. Latouche, excuse me, Latouche. Good to see you, bro. Thank you for that. Right, so let's talk about the news headlines. What are we gonna be talking about today? COVID, guess what? Still not a vaccine, so we gotta talk about it, right? End of TPS, wow. End of TPS. Oh my goodness, we got to talk about that. Closer to Haiti elections, right? And a reformed constitution. Ooh, things are about to be hot in the country, unfortunately, right? International aid, lots of things happening there, right? Foreign aid is happening. Public works, some really interesting, really, I mean, for those folks who know Haiti, and when they're in Haiti, they travel, they drive around, they move around, right? There's some really interesting stuff. I mean, La Boule, Port Pitchonville is going to have a direct route to Cafu now. I'm going to say that again. Pitchonville, La Boule 12, right, is going to have a direct connection to Cafu. Stay tuned to that. Don't move. We're going to talk about that. Battle for Barbancourt. Ooh, this is the stuff of Game of Thrones, y'all. Game of Thrones. We got some high-level stuff happening right now. And Barbancourt we're going to report and talk about. So don't change that tile. This is some saucies. Make sure to get some popcorn. And we're going to talk about it and break it down, right? Agriculture, you guys got some stuff talking about. And that's something I always look forward to breaking down. And that will be the final news story. Okay. All right. So again, lots of really interesting stuff we're going to talk about here. So don't change that dial. It's going to be a quick show too on top of that. So we'll probably be done by the time you finish sipping your coffee. All right. Cause ici, cause l'autre. Cause ici, cause l'autre. Good to have you, Jose, in the chat today, right? Let me sip my coffee because again, we are here early. That's a good Haitian coffee too, man. I'm sipping my preference is Café Toro. I'm about to get a sponsor, Café Toro. What's up? I'm kidding. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. First off, COVID, right? Our numbers we're down. This is the 6th week. I want to say 6th or 7th week. We've been down 6 out of 6 weeks. We've been down 5 weeks, which is great. Our numbers at 2016 is our active cases right now. Okay. And we're up 221 in deaths. We have 221 deaths, and that's up 5 new deaths of COVID, which it's just, again, every time I look at those numbers, I'm very sorry for the 200 plus folks who have lost their lives because of COVID complications. But Haiti, America, we're there is 1,000 deaths a day in America, 1,000 deaths a day. And since the start of this COVID, we've only had 200 deaths. And so when I look at Haiti's very unlucky history as it relates to natural disasters, I think God has given us a break for once. I think God's like, yeah, you know what? Let's give him a break on this one. But we still have to stay vigilant because Haiti is in a very vulnerable situation, a very vulnerable spot. When we compare these numbers with Dominican Republic, we have to compare them with Dominican Republic because we're on the same island and very porous borders. They're at 24,519, which is down slightly from 24,543, which I reported last week, right? But at least they're not going up, right? Before they were going up at a record clip at Dominican Republic. And the death count has gone up considerably. Well, that's not as high as it usually has been. It's been going up in batches of 1,000 or so a week, but it's up. 1,000, 200 or 300 a week. It's 2,034 compared to 1942, right? And of course, there's still some donations happening for the international community. I know USAID provided $2 million, $2.6 million. Just last week. I don't necessarily report on that as much as I would anymore, just because it's COVID has really seen a strong decline here in Haiti. But I can tell you that being in the country, folks are still following discipline. When you go into stores, you still have to wear a mask. Folks aren't necessarily washing their hands before you enter stores, but they're wearing masks, at least in the country, and that's great to see. But still, it's certainly gone down. Minus used to be everywhere, including taps and everything. But certainly we hope the declines continue to stay in that rate. And of course, the vaccine It's supposed to be coming out sometime mid next year. Right? So end of TPS, a massive ruling came out earlier this week where the Court of Appeals approved Trump's push to end TPS. Right? The Court of Appeals approved Trump's push to end TPS. It's a very disconcerting news that puts 58,000 Haitians at risk. It is a massive blow to what so many are trying to do. Because I mean, put it like this: the reason why it matters to Haiti domestically is a lot of these Haitians sent a lot of money back home. Right, with the biggest source of dollars into the country right now is remittances. Right, if you have 58,000 people coming back, that's a huge drop in a very important life stream for Haitians here in the country. And I'll be honest, a lot of these Haitians who left, they didn't have anything here in the country. Yeah, their homes were destroyed. They were living at the very destitute level with it. So you're bringing them back to what? You're bringing them back to what? And now part of me does look forward to seeing a return of qualified, skilled Haitians back to the country. But unfortunately, the reality is not every Haitian is fit for Haiti. What does that mean? If you don't have a vision, a plan, most importantly, for what you're going to do when you're here, a strategy for what you're going to do when you're here, I don't recommend you come here. Right? Haiti is a place. Haiti needs visionaries. Haiti needs executioners, in the sense that folks who are able to execute, right? Folks who have incredible capita. Capita that doesn't necessarily mean, for me, money. It means also social capital, connections, capacity to grow markets for Haitian goods and products in America or Canada, or wherever they're coming from. And just to kick 58,000 people back, with the vast majority really unfit to be in this country, because you need a certain constitution to be in this country. I'm not knocking anyone. I'm just saying that Haiti is a special difficulty. If you're playing a video game, Haiti is the maximum level of difficulty in the video game, right? And so not everybody can play the maximum level of difficulty. And so that's what I mean. I'm not counting down these folks. I'm just saying Haiti's a special place, and you have to be a special person to really decide to engage and do what you have to do, right? And to kick 58,000 people back, it is really, into this country where I can tell you, I'm averaging 4 or 5 hours of electricity every other night, right? And lucky for me, I have solar panels and whatnot, but to kick someone back in this country in these sort of conditions, it really is a lack of humanity. It really is inhumane, right? It is a crime, certainly, And but nonetheless, that's the direction Trump and the Republicans want to go, and they have the green light to do so, right? Additionally, TPS affects, and the total count of the TPS affected people actually is 200,000 people. It includes Nicaragua, Sudan, El Salvador, right? Additionally, a bit of good news: they can't execute the order of really formally end TPS until March 5th, 2021. Right? So why it's so important to make sure? Why is it so important, right, to vote in this election? Right? Can't stress that enough, especially with Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing. Right? The fact that, so by the way, this doesn't mean that there's no more appeals to do. Right? Now the next level is going to be the Supreme Court. Right? And with the fact that hopefully Trump won't be able to put someone in before the election, right, which is only about 60-ish days away, 50 or 40 days away. Hopefully Trump won't be able to put someone in, but if he does, if he doesn't, it's even more important that we vote, because having a Democratic president, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an important liberal, a very important liberal voice on the Supreme Court. And that's another bit of news, that she passed away about 2-3 days ago. And the fact that she is going to be replaced with a conservative judge, that's going to certainly tip the Supreme Court conservative for the next few decades if we don't go out and vote. It's important. It is really important. Can't stress it enough that we go out and vote. Can't stress it enough. And when I say we, those who are Haitian Americans or Americans in general watching this from America, even if you're American, by the way, Haitian American in Haiti, although you can vote still, you can vote through the U.S. Embassy. So if you do have a retired mother, father, uncle, sister who's still a Haitian, a U.S. citizen, they can still vote while they're here. They have an absentee international ballot they can use and vote. Just make sure that they take their time and make sure they fill out per the instructions, because we certainly want their votes to count. It's one of the biggest issues is that so many of those votes don't count because of issues of how they fill the ballots out, right? So just be aware of that. I can't stress it enough. Go vote. Have your parents vote. Take them. Take a friend. Take them. Hey, ask your friends, all your friends in your network, hey, have you voted? If not, let's go. We're going to go. I'm coming to pick you up. I'm coming to pick you up, man. My car. I'm coming. But we have to, even the folks who are on the fence about the importance of voting. I always speak from an economist perspective. What does my vote matter? From a macroeconomic perspective, they're not wrong. From a macroeconomic perspective, if enough people say, what does my vote matter? And they stay home, we get what we got, which is an orange president, right? So again, I can't stress it enough. If you're Haitian, you have the fate of 58,000 Haitians are in your hands, right? Because if you don't go vote, and there's another Republican president, right? And that means TPS is certainly going to move forward and end. And then a conservative Supreme Court justice will be in there to shoot down any appeal attempts. Okay. So that's where we're going to end that news story, right? Let's jump in the chat and see what folks are saying. We have LF, good to see you. I know I'm a little bit early this morning, so good to see you, LF. Happy to have you in the chat this morning. We got Just Jay, interested in doing business in Haiti, especially OCOP, right? There's plenty of opportunity in Haiti. In fact, that's why I'm running a book. The book we're very, very happy to say we've crossed over some very important milestones in that book. In fact, we're now in a place where we're effecting a revision, right? The write-up is done, and now we're revising what's there, adding content, really beefing it up during review. And so I want to say we're making some really, really important progress on that book. And I feel we're certainly on pace to release this book for the end of the year. I'm still working very aggressively to get to that point. Just dropped the title of that book. We're working on 101 ways to make money in Haiti, lucrative business ideas, insightful success stories, interesting business opportunities for visionary entrepreneurs. It's a mouthful, but you need a mouthful when you're talking about Haiti. I don't want to make a generic write-up of what's going on in the country, the opportunities that exist. So Just Jay, be on the lookout for that book. It's going to help you tremendously. But the best thing I can tell you right now, before that book comes out, just take your time. It's a big thing with Haiti. Take your time. Don't just pull the trigger. Don't work on emotion. Visit the country. Make sure you're fully engrossed with the culture, the people who and have a very strong foundational network before you do business in the country. Because it's as I say, Haiti is an extra boss level. Haiti is an extra boss level in a video game when it comes to doing business in particular. So you want to take it very strategically, very slowly, and then to maximize your chance of success, right? Just Jay follows up. That's right. Mail-in voting lines are going to be a disaster. Certainly, I think for a lot of places, mail-in voting period is over, right? For a lot of places. So if folks didn't mail in vote, it's really important to make sure that they physically vote. And a lot of places have early voting. And the early voting is pretty convenient. Not in a lot of states. Certainly, if you wait till the last day, it's going to be difficult. But certainly, do try mail-in voting. Right. Just J Alpha follows up, says, no one's going to wait. Yeah, exactly. Just early voting is what you want to do. Don't wait for the day of voting. Right? I know Florida, for example, that's my state of residence when I'm in America. There's early voting. Early voting is going to start around late October, right? So certainly take advantage of that. Yvonne Gilliam says, good morning, brother. How did Haitians in Florida get conned into voting for Trump when they all knew well the man's abject racism for our people and for all blacks? Haitians gave Florida gave Trump. I don't think just because there was a meeting of like 5 Haitians, maybe 20 Haitians, that we had a very large turnout for Haitians going to Trump. I don't think 20 Haitians gave, versus the thousands of Haitians that exist in South Florida, gave it to Trump. I don't. Maybe you can say some younger Haitians, millennial. This is a millennial problem. Millennial Haitians stayed home, right, and then didn't go out and vote. We could say that I didn't go out to vote for anyone. Right, and a lot of other Haitians, knowing what Hillary Clinton has done in Haiti, and the strong feelings the Clintons have in Haiti, even though they voted, they may have left that box empty, right, which certainly contributed to Trump winning, right? But I don't think that there was a very large turnout for Trump from among Haitians. I don't. That's a non sequitur, my brother. I don't really believe that. Frankie Ledger says, guys, we need to share and follow the Jeanty family. Okay, thank you very much. Sharing the stream. Thank you, Frankie. One thing Jeanty can provide, it's great advice. You guys focus on rebuilding Haiti and bring your business back. Frankie Jeanty, another Jeanty brother. It's something about that Jeanty name, boy. If you're born as a Jeanty, man, you can't but help be proactive in getting Haiti out of the hole that it's in. So, Frankie, thanks for being in the chat, bro, and I appreciate the kind words. And certainly hope to see you constantly back and contributing to the conversation we have here every Sunday. Cozy Lobo says, what do you think? What do you think a Haitian American can do right now to help Haiti? First off, don't talk bad about it, right? That's the first thing. It's one of the things that I never see Indians as crazy as India is. I never see them talking bad about India publicly and passionately as Haitians do. Secondly, of course, it's important to acknowledge the problems, but it's a family issue. It's like you don't talk bad about your brothers and sisters, no matter how much you may have beef with them. It's a family issue. Haiti's problems is a family issue, and we got to work towards resolving it. And so that's why the second thing advice I give is, as much as you can support Haitian business, both in your community and from Haiti, you should, right? Because every other community goes out their way to support their own community, no matter where they are. And the Haitians have an incredible bad track record of supporting themselves. Unfortunately, we've taken that same ethos of blacks across the world, and we do a poor job of economic empowering ourselves, right? The Chinese. How many times have you seen a Chinese person in an Indian neighborhood? You don't see it, right? And I can go down the road in terms of communities that you don't really see. They stick to their own. They spend amongst their own. They support their own. And Haitians don't do that, right? Black people in general don't do that, but Haitians don't do that as well. And so that's really the second big thing. And then finally, the third thing is you got to visit your country, right? And not too many Haitian Americans, they throw up the flag on Haitian Flag Day, but you ask them last time they've been to Haiti, and when I was a kid, my parents dragged me over there. And to me, the most patriotic thing, the way you really support show that you're Haitian is you go into the country and you. Again, it's not about going to where I always say, if you go to the country and you're with your parents, you're not really visiting Haiti. I mean, you're visiting a particular piece of land in the country, but you're not visiting the country as a whole. Go when you're an adult, go to the Cameroon, go to Wahoo Bay Beach, go to Jacmel, right? Really go and enjoy your country. When I go to these places myself, it's nothing but people from abroad, people from outside, who aren't Haitian, are enjoying the beauty. I mean, it's like, who fought for this country? I don't understand. Like, who fought 3 major powers and won? Wasn't it our ancestors? Wasn't it your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother who fought Europeans and won, but yet you're too afraid, you're too busy talking bad about the country, allowing our corrupt politicians keep you out of the country. I can tell you, visiting Haiti is no dangerous than visiting any other country on the planet. In fact, you're probably more safe with an American passport than Haitians here living in the country, I can tell you, right? And so you need to visit your country. You need to support directly the country by visiting, right? And so those are the big three things I would advise Haitian Americans to support, some more things. So no problem. Thanks for that question, Jose. Just Jay, thanks for the advice. Take heed. Jude Juprana, thank you for that. First time I've seen Jude. Hope to see you again. Frankie, absolutely. I think we certainly need to create more opportunities. I agree with you. Is there a database of Haitian businesses in which to do that in Haiti? There's a website called Haitian Business or Haiti Business, one of the two. I think it's Haiti Business. Functions as a yellow page, and it's a business directory that you can see any business in Haiti, right? And so but I mean it's not super hard to find Haitian business. I mean, if you Amazon, you just type Haitian, type anything Haiti, and you see our Haitian coffee, Haitian chocolate bars. I mean, there's a lot of countless. I mean, just watch my channel. I don't know if you're new here, Cozy, but one thing we do here, we highlight Haitian businesses, and we love to highlight businesses that there's ways for you guys to purchase from, right? So just go to my channel, check out. There is a playlist called Haiti Biz Spotlight playlist, and it's a bunch of businesses that I've fortunately had a chance to work with and highlight, and so you can start there. But honestly, come on now, it's we live in a day and age of Google, so just Google search whatever you're looking for, and you find it. Just go out your way to support Haitian business, inconvenience yourself for the better of the PS. That's one problem Haitians don't do. They don't know the concept of inconvenience yourself for the betterment of your people, though every other race does it because it's the religious correct thing to do, right? Only Haitians don't do that, right? So that's best I can tell you, Robin. Robin says, yeah, we have to support businesses and right. We have to again, and we have to stop supporting businesses that are against us. I agree with you. And Adam says, good morning. Good morning to you. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Hope to see you again. Haiti businesses. Yeah, Haiti business. That's the website, I believe. Right. Let's take a look. Let's give some IG. Got some folks in IG here. Want to say what's up to them. Nico, what's up? Good to have you in here. You're still in there. We got I Crave K saying, what's the best way to support family in Haiti? The best way to support family in Haiti, honestly, is have a discussion with them, talk with them, and ask them, hey, what is it? I can send you $20 right now, or I can send you $200 for you to start a business that can support yourselves, in perpetuity, right? So you should ask them, right? What is it that you can help them do? Is it a commerce? Is it something that, like a lot of Haitians have, little stores where they sell stuff out their homes, and make good money that way, right? And so I would have that conversation, particularly if it's family that you care about, you trust. Ask them, hey, okay, m'ka voye $20 pour, mais si m'ka voye $1,000 pour, m'ka commencer un business, qui ça ka commencer? Qui plan gain? Qui des affaires gain? Après qui j'en cap bon mon niveau de confiance, qui business ça bien géré, right? Mais comprendre tout, m'pa non. So, moi dim et par la même dim qui ça ou préfère $20 teasing $20 ça ou $1,000 pour clé pour la vie, right? Say something like that. And that's really the best way you can go about helping your family, helping them set up a capacity to feed themselves, right? That's really what I advise you to do at Great K. Just have that conversation with them and see how you can really give them the best. Because I can tell you, human beings in general, they want to be self-sufficient. They want to be able to support themselves, right? And so have that conversation. And too many of us don't have that conversation, right? And of course, if they mess it up, they eat that money and they don't spend it. And guess what? you are off the hook, right? You had an agreement with them. You sent them a lot of money to properly, invest in themselves. And if they, minus a hurricane or something that comes in, disaster that could happen in Haiti, if they mismanage that money, you're good. You're off the hook. You can ignore that phone. To me, I'd say you can ignore that phone call. That, cousin, nah, I gave you 1,000 and you didn't take it serious, right? So that's my best advice to you. Have that conversation, but also coach them, work with them, because a lot of folks, a lot of them may not have finished school. A lot of them certainly do not have a business degree. So certainly understand that. You give that money and then you consult, you become a consultant for them to make sure they're using it correctly. But that's the best thing I can tell you. Right? We got Patrice Bayard in the house. Patrice, Access Haiti, what's up? Happy to have you in the chat. I'm talking to you right now through an Access Haiti connection, using their air fiber. For folks who don't know, if you're in the country, one of the most consistent internet services is Access Haiti. By the way, I had an episode on Access Haiti. I have it on my Haiti Biz playlist. Or no, actually, on New Palais. Actually, I need to move it to both places. Actually, I'm gonna fix that. It probably is on both places, but I'll double check. Where we had a chance to visit the Access Haiti corporate center. We had a chance to speak with the commercial director. Even Patrice Bayard was on there as well. So shouts out to Patrice. So Patrice says, I am an inspiration to him. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Consistently posting new content. Thank you so much. Putting in work day in, day out on social media. I extend compliments to him in a big way. Patrice, merci un pile. Et c'est une lutte que nous tous avons essayé de faire. Changer le pays. Now, through my imagery, certainly helps. But of course, what you're doing here to construct a telecom entity that with customer service, that's the big thing. Trust me, it's a misery trying to contact NatCom. That's the other big competitor out there. To have a company that actually functions and behaves in a way that we, someone who's from America, can appreciate. It's refreshing. So thank you, Patrice. Appreciate the text. You're always welcome in the chat. Always welcome. Appreciate that. Right. So let's talk about other news stories. Let's bring that. Let's keep it going because it's gonna be a short show today. So I'm gonna knock out the rest of these news stories just to make sure and then I head back in the chat. We can keep our conversations going because I do have to leave a bit early today. That's why I'm on so early today. In fact. So let's move through it. Closer to Haitian elections and reformed constitution. Here's the thing. Don't want to talk about it. It's a little too close to politics in my book, but we got to talk about it because of the potential impact it's going to do to the business climate in the country, right? So what has happened? We have the, President Moise through Prime Minister Juth has gone ahead and declared the Provisional Electoral Council. And what that means is that this is the first step, the necessary step. This is the group that actually holds the elections, executes the elections in the country. And you have President Moise out of pressure from the international community. The community has made it very clear elections need to happen. He's moving forward with that Provisional Electoral Council. That council is made up of 9 representatives from different factions of the society, from the religious group, from different associations, unions. Most importantly, this is I believe the first time. So please, if I'm ignorant, please have someone in the chat correct me. The first time we had a diaspora representative, i.e., a diaspora representative on the council. And by the way, why this is interesting is that we actually have the opportunity. The same CEP is also going to be part of the constitutional reform. President Moise has been talking very aggressively of reforming the Constitution. Right now, there's just too much power in the parliament, which wouldn't be a problem if the parliament actually did its job, but it doesn't. It sits around receiving the highest salary in the entire Caribbean. That's truth. It has the highest net salary, including all the fringe benefits and everything, of the entire Caribbean. Right? Only Jamaica's second, and yet does no work and blames the president for every problem in the country. Whoever the president is, it's the president that's causing X, Y, and Z, even though the president really has no power constitutionally, right? When Parliament's in session and have decorum, Parliament can literally change the country if they actually did their jobs and brought up bills and discussed and voted, right? So the woman who's supposed to represent the diaspora is Esperancia Cesar, probably saying her name wrong, and she has the potential, if she can. Hopefully, she has she is being well counseled by diaspora representatives internationally to ensure that diaspora issues, including the right to vote abroad, is brought up in the Haitian Constitution. Diaspora issues, including the diaspora being able to run for any office after, obviously, a residency period. Folks always say, "Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. A guy who's never been to Haiti can run for senator?" No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying make it make sense. They'll say, hey, after 4 or 5 years of clear residency in Haiti, right, run for office, right? We already have dual nationality. Not a lot of Haitians. Whenever time I say this, there's like 2-3 people in the chat that's shocked to hear this. There is, since 2012, there is dual nationality in Haiti, meaning you can have another passport and not lose all your rights to being Haitian, right? Legally, enshrined in the Constitution. It was amended by Martelly, which is why I can't totally, cast full dispersions on him, despite track record of some of the things that happened during his administration. He passed that very important amendment law that allows Haitians, even if you're not born here, if you have a mother or father who's Haitian, you're Haitian, and you have full functioning rights. Now, to execute that, there's still Parliament, surprise, never did its job and voted a clear, functional process for those who weren't born here to get their paperwork, right? There isn't a legal process. It can be done. Let me look away from the camera when I say that it can be done, but there isn't a formal legal process, unfortunately, to get it done. But if you were born in Haiti and then you became a citizen elsewhere and you have a Haitian birth certificate, then it's super easy. It's super easy to get all your documentation and function here in the country, right? There's no shade in that, right? You just literally go to the National Archives and get your paperwork, and then you can yourself, with no middleman, go and take care of your stuff if you're born here. If you're not born here, again, legally you have all the rights, but Parliament has never put in the process for you to actually execute those rights. Okay, so we'll see ultimately, what the CEP does. But the reason why it's particularly important to the business climate here in Haiti, political season is a very messy time in this country. A lot of money is spent in the streets, so to speak, to sow a level of discontent. I don't want to say it's not dangerous, but it's unstable. Put it like that. It's very unstable during election time here. In fact, I tell people, only time you really should think about avoiding Haiti is during election periods, because things become very unstable, right? Because again, when I say unstable, I'm very, very clear, like, you can't do anything. You're going to be stuck in your hotel the whole time you're here, because there's going to be protests and people taking the streets, and roadblocks, and a bunch of stuff happening during those periods of election, right? And so, and that's just supposed to happen in February. So I would tell you, January and February, I probably would not make plans to be in Haiti. I'll be honest with you. January and February, don't make plans to be in Haiti. I hate to say this, but that's just the reality. Elections coming, and unfortunately, the worst. Again, remember I told you at the very beginning, what did I say? Every single problem Haiti has is politics. That's it, right? The political actors who will vie for power, right? And then when they get in power, do absolutely nothing except collect a paycheck, right? This is their time coming, right? You can tell it's like a hurricane coming. It's an earthquake that's coming. Political season is coming. Run for the hills. Lock your doors. The politicians are coming out, right? And so so that's why it matters, and that's why we're talking about it. So just be aware. Things are moving forward from that perspective, and avoid Haiti for January and February. Okay. International aid. Let's talk about it. Canada has donated $26 million to the Center of International Studies and Cooperation and Papyrus, which is a micro donor financial economic institution. And that money is supposed to go to support agricultural value chains, food insecurity, and climate change. They have expected to impact 8,000 producers and 27,000 vendors who are within the supply chain of agriculture. And 27,000, and of that 27,000, 60% are women, right, in the South and in Gundas, right? And so great news. Certainly, I look forward to seeing and getting that follow-up of how things have shaped out. Canada is on a roll. Canada has additionally provided $12 million in support of the PNH, the National Police Force in Haiti, $12 million. And the goal here is to improve operational institutional capacity. The Canadian ambassador, in fact, said that they really want to see the PNH reach 25,000 trained officers, and they really want the police to have increased salary and better equipment, right? And so, there is foreign aid happening. The Haitian government is receiving money for specific initiatives, right? Of course, the hope is always that money, as much as possible, actually does make it to where it's supposed to go. Right? That's always a big question mark when it comes to Haiti. But nonetheless, we have some very important activities happening that could potentially help structurally the governance. Right? Food prices have seen a decrease. Anecdotal reports. Food prices have been falling alongside the strengthening of the good. Right, strengthening the good. The good has, remember, fallen. It has used to be you needed 120 good to purchase a single dollar, and now we're it's as low as 80 good. Right, so the good has lost somewhere around 40% or gained 40% against the dollar. Right. And by the way, let me stop real quick and just say two things. IG is going to end real soon, so IG, if you're watching from IG, hop over to the Facebook page, hop over to the YouTube page. Right. Second thing, share the live. If you're watching this, appreciate the information. Share the partager live la. Partager live la. Right. In fact, look at my banner. What happened to my banner? I don't know what happened. That's weird. Partager live la. There you go. Right. Let me get back to it. Food prices have decreased as low and has seen 15 to 18% for many goods in some stores. Rice, vegetable oil, corn, sugar, fruits. We're starting to see a decrease in prices. It took a week or two before seeing that, but that is great. We're very happy to see that, because again, the prices of many products were unreasonably high, and so many Haitians still, despite the prices going up, we're still making most of their money in good, and we're locked in. So those who are fortunate enough to have jobs, their wages didn't increase, right? And those who were just hustling on the street, maybe saw a little bit of increase in their prices, because those who are on the street, they have the power to raise their prices. But given the country as a whole has been hurting, certainly their net take home has been the same. Right? So good news for the society as a whole, and we're going to keep an eye on that. The Institute of Statistics, that's under the Minister of Finance, we're waiting for those. Those are the official numbers. They track inflation and food prices. And so I'm waiting for those official statistics to come out that use proper economic processes to evaluate food prices using food baskets and comparing them across the country. That's going to happen only, unfortunately, a few months from now, or a few months out. It's always quarter by quarter. That is how they well, actually month by month, but still, usually about a month or 2 months later that you get those statistics. So, so certainly look forward to dissecting those pieces of numbers with you when those official numbers come out. Right. So what's next? Public Works. Labul dues. This is big news, guys. Big news. This is big news. So I'm gonna challenge you guys. You know what? Let me do this. Let me do this. Actually, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something. This is far out, guys. And I'm about to blow your minds here in a moment. Here, check this one. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up something here. I'm gonna pull up something. Okay. All right, let me switch over to. Bear with me here, guys. I want to show you guys something. I can tell you this news, but it's so much more important that I show you this news. So much more important. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let me go ahead and share it. So check this out, guys. So what am I looking at here? We're looking at Google Maps, right? So the news is that there's an imminent opening of, and by the way, those in IG, I'm sorry. You got to go to my YouTube page, Facebook page to watch this, see what I'm talking about. There's an imminent opening of Labul Duz. Labul, those who know, it's a city around here. Let me go and show you guys. Come on, where's my mouse? Okay, here. It's a city around here. I hope you guys can see my mouse there. Around this area here, okay? Labul Duz, it's just north. So you take, this is Petroville, and you take the road Route Kenskov, and you go up a little bit. And then the very first mini town here, I guess Monkai, I guess would be the first little town, but the second little town you have here is Labul Duz. Now, the Minister of Public Works have actually created a road that's kind of going to connect you to Kafu. I'm gonna say it again. From Labul Duz, from Petroville to Labul Duz, there's going to be a road that connects you to Kafu. Now, a lot of folks are like, what are you talking about, SeeJeanty? What do you mean? I can drive from Petroville and skip La Ville, skip Matizan, skip La Ville, skip a lot of the tête chargée areas of the country, right? Right. A lot of folks know this. Those are the tête chargée parts of the country. It's always for many months, it was a war, literally a war zone, in those areas in the country, right? Gangs have just infested those areas of the country. We talked about this here on SeeJeanty and Haiti Biz News. And now what's going to happen is, let me show you guys. Let me show you. What you see here is there's this road right here. There's this road right here. There's this bigger white road here, starting about where this Capital Bank is, right? Or actually around here. Right, let me mark it for you guys. Let me see. What's here? Let me put that. See, there's a little marker. I thought it was gonna be bigger. That would have been bigger. I thought we had a bigger marker. So annoying. Let me see if I can put a bigger marker here if you guys can see. I guess it's the biggest I can do. Sorry, guys. But right here is a little entrance of a road. And then you take this little back road here. Or actually, you might be able to, in fact, yeah, either way, this road, if you go straight and then you keep following this road, right? And you keep following it and it merges right here. And you keep following it, you keep going. Right around here, again, I hope you guys are seeing my mouse. You can start going in. You start going in, and voila, you're in Kafu. You're in Kafu, just like that. You are in Kafu. Just like that. And then there's some additional roads you're gonna have to take. Maybe back here, I see this real road here. And then déboucher sur Route Carrefour, the main road. And then from there, I probably would just cut out a little bit and cut around. And then now, boom, I'm in Carrefour. I skipped because this part's very trafficy. There's lots of traffic in here, right? So I would prefer going to Route d'Arels, right? And I'll even change my map. This is the best map. This is the best map, right? Because you can't really, the other maps, you have satellite, you can't really see nothing. The satellite, you can't see anything, right? So we can't see nothing. This is the best way for you to see anything. I'll be honest with you. I don't. And this is with Is there a show imagery? What's over here? Yeah, you can't really see nothing, guys. This is the best map, believe me, right? And so I just wanted to show you guys, because it's hard to, if I tell you there's a back path now, it's easier for me to have shown you. Again, if you're on IG, I just showed it. I showed it on my YouTube and my Facebook page live. That's happening simultaneously. There is now a back road. There is now a back road to Kafou from Pétionville and La Boudouze. That's crazy, right? Literally from La Boudouze, you take this back road and you just cut down, and now you are in Kafou. Crazy thing. By the way, IG Live is ending. So Facebook, YouTube, I'm not going to reboot. All right. So that's far out, guys. I just want to take some time to show that to you guys. That's crazy. That there is now a back path to get to Kafou. And so when I say now, it's very close to being finished, to the point where it's actually been announced that, as early as next month, you'll be able to drive from Pétionville directly to Kafou, never having to go to, never having to go to, these are nasty thumbnails. Come on now, give me a good thumbnail. I'll use that. Yeah, post. Right? Never having to go to La Ville, Matissan, Tétchage. And that's very big news for a lot of people who do tourism in the Grecier, in the South, a lot of business and commerce in the South as well, because the instability in Matissan has been devastating for a lot of people wanting to go enjoy the south of the country. For a long time, it was basically a blockade, embargo in the whole country, in the south of the country, because of the instability in Matissan. And so, big news. Certainly, we'll be back and report this officially, right? Big news, unfortunately, especially when that officially has become, the road has been fully completed. We'll be back, and in fact, I'm gonna take it one step further. The moment I hear that the roads are back, I personally am going to drive on that road. And remember, we have a series on YouTube on the SeeJeanty, driving in Haiti. Guess what? We're going to strap a GoPro to my car, and we're gonna take you down this road, and we're gonna go down, and of course we're not gonna record the drive back, but we're gonna take you from La Boudouze through Kafou. I look forward to it. Right, look out for that episode. It's gonna happen. Right. Next story has to do with the battle for Barbancourt. Ooh, this is like Game of Thrones stuff here. By the way, it's like an open secret. Anybody who's in Haiti, knew this was happening, and anyone who's the business community in Haiti is very small, very small. And if you're in the business community and you're doing well, you're going to meet just about everybody, or meet enough people that can then start telling you what's happening everywhere else. And so it's been in the circles of the business community here that there's been a fight happening at Barbancourt. And even those who aren't connected, they knew there was an issue, because Barbancourt for a while in 2019 was very hard to find. There was a shortage because of the fighting happening at Barbancourt, right? So what happened? What's going on? So as you know, Thierry Gadier, the former CEO, PDG of Barbancourt, passed away. I believe of a heart attack, or don't quote me on that, but passed away suddenly after running the company for 27 years. His shares went to his wife. The wife handed over all those shares over to their daughter, Nathalie Gadier. Hope I'm saying her name right. Gadier. Remember, this is a business that's been run by the same family, really since 1907. And by the way, the reason why it's not called the Barbancourts, even though the Barbancourt started this rum business, is because when the original Barbancourt passed away, let me look at my notes here. Now, where's my notes here? Okay, my bad. Not Natalie. I'm got my notes messed up. Folks are yelling at me. So the daughter is Defline. Oh my, no, I'm saying that wrong. But Defline Gadier. Defline Gadier is the daughter who basically took over the shares and is the current CEO. Defline Gadier. So Natalie Gadier is the wife of the original Barbancourt, okay, who took over the company, and way back, oh my goodness, Barbancourt's wife. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Barbancourt's wife. I got my notes all mixed up here, right? I got my notes. I got Natalie Defline. Yeah, excuse me. I was preparing my notes late yesterday evening, and I got things mixed up. Excusez-moi. Right. So the story is Barbancourt passed away. The original one passed away, and then passed the shares along to when the original Barbancourt passed away. It was given, all the shares was given to Natalie Gadier. That's where the family name, who's been running it, came about. Then when she passed all her shares and the execution of the company to a nephew, and since then that line has been running Barbancourts. Okay, follow me? I didn't confuse you too much. Okay, great, thanks. So when Terry Gadier passed away, the wife got the shares and then passed it over to Defline. Defline now was the CEO. The problem here, here's where the drama comes in. The drama comes in that the uncles and the aunts of Defline, in other words, Terry's brothers and sisters, right, didn't say that they weren't in the know about this change of leadership. And listen, it's a straight, let's be honest, it's a power play, right? OCO is out. The current partners wanted to run the business themselves, right? Defline came in. Defline said, I'm going to run the business. I have the shares to do it. And so obviously there was a power struggle. It's plain and simple, right? The uncles had a vision for the company. Defline had a vision for the company. And so the aunts and uncles went ahead and picked Defline out. They voted because they had more shares than her. They had like 6%, where Defline only had like 34, 38%, somewhere around there, and kicked her out. Defline took her to court in Haiti. Well, not court, arbitration, which is the only iteration of business court that actually functions in the country. And in arbitration, she won, and she was able to get her role back. The aunts and uncles then were like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to instead say that the mom who gave Defline the shares wasn't mentally able to make decisions, and took shares back from her. She went back to arbitration. She won again, right? And at this point, the aunts and uncles have been extremely frustrated, right? Though they did try one more time to say that there was fraud and embezzlement happening, that happened to Terry, but unfortunately the judge said not enough proof was given, and did not execute any injunction on Defline. And so now the aunts and uncles actually are looking to sell their shares, and Defline is in a position now to buy and own 100% of the company. So when I say this was Game of Thrones, Defline, took many punches to the face, right? And yet, and starting October, she is going to own 100% of Barbancourt. So hats off to Defline, female PGG CEO, was able to stand her ground, and actually now has full control of Barbancourt. So, and by the way, it's interesting, Barbancourt, during this research, I come to find out Barbancourt only is at 18 million. It has a valuation of $18 million, which to me is just small, right? I mean, when you think about Budweiser and bunch of other companies that are in the hundreds of millions to billions of dollars in America. It's kind of astonishing to know as important Barbancourt is for our country. It really is. I mean, there's three things that are as Haitian as Barbancourt. It's grill, prestige, right, and then Barbancourt, right? And so it only has an $18 million valuation, which is interesting. But then in any case, we certainly hope Delphine can take this added capacity and power to push Barbancourt into the future and grow it. Certainly, we want better access for Barbancourt in America, because right now I can tell you only select stores have Barbancourt, and we'd like to see Barbancourt on every shelf. And I would like to see Barbancourt in Walmart, honestly, because honestly, the more Barbancourt succeeds, the better people can associate Haiti with other things, right? And then some folks who may be critical of alcohol, right? Like, I get it, right? Some folks, I want Haiti to be known for more than just alcohol. It's poison. Like, yeah, I guess. But I know when I lived in France, like, there were shelves upon shelves of red wine and white wine, all from French producers. And in Haiti, there's really only two main ones in Haiti, and there's some small clay makers, right? So why not have shelves upon shelves of different producers of alcohol from the country? Because I mean, who would get benefit? Sugarcane makers in Haiti, right? Farmers in Haiti would gain if there was more rum being produced from Haiti, right? So nonetheless, I'm very happy to hear. I got a lot more. I like to really go into this, but unfortunately, we're pushing against the time that I have to end this. I ended earlier. The final news story has to do with agriculture. Part of the response from Tropical Storm Laura, the South and Southeast farmers have been given access to the National Agricultural Development Bank. We talked about this a few weeks back. The National Agricultural Development Bank was inaugurated, and then they were going to use that. They're at communal agricultural offices that exist throughout the country and throughout the provinces that are there to help sort of as consult and anything that had to do administratively based on agriculture, use those communal offices to trickle information and programs out. Now they're actually used as bank branches for the Agricultural Development Bank. One of the first things that the Agricultural Bank is going to do, they have a $20 million charter. 20 million of that is going to be used to provide agricultural credit. Again, this $20 million US. 20 million is going to be given to issue agricultural credit to farmers. So farmers can be able to purchase things such as feed, such as equipment, pay laborers to help them, and then of course pay it back after harvest, right? And given that the Tropical Storm Laura did do quite a bit of damage to many areas, agriculture output, this is a very important lifeline. That actually this is a Haitian product, right? When I say Haitian product, this is a Haitian government executed body that's actually doing this work using Haitian tax funds. And so, listen, I'm not, when you hear me talk critically of Haitian government, I only talk critically of Haitian government only because of, a lot of the critically things that are being done critically that they do. But there's some very positive things that the Haitian government's doing as well. For example, connecting the La Boule to CAFU directly. That's what we should be hearing and seeing from a Haitian government, right? And this right here, the national chartering a national agricultural commercial bank, and then saying and telling the agricultural bank, hey, we're going to focus on areas that were affected by Tropical Storm Laura and make sure that these farmers have access to credit so they can rebuild and execute what they have to do. This is why I do Haiti Biz News. I do Haiti Biz News so that we know stories like this exist. And yes, the Haitian government doesn't do nearly as much as it should do, but there are some things that are being done by the government that is moving, that is by definition, if it was done more, would move the country forward, but by definition, move the country forward, right? So happy to talk about that. And then that wraps up the news for us today, right? So let's hop in the chat real quick, because I hate to leave and not say what's up and read the comments, right? Let's see, Vicky Lake, hey, what's up? first time I'm seeing you in the chat here. Vicky, I hope to see you again. Does your book have steps to opening business in Haiti, including the steps where I can get the business license? Vicky Lake, Haiti doesn't work that way, right? So we do provide, the book is going to have some guidance in terms of the different business entities that exist. But please understand, Haiti is not America. Haiti is not Canada. There does not exist a way for you to online go and start a business, right? You can't just walk into. I mean, MCE is the Minister of Commerce and Industry. Actually, isn't as corrupt as other departments in the country. And actually, Minister of Commerce, if you're looking to open a very simple business, like a sole proprietorship level of business, then you won't have a problem. To at least that first step and that final step of going to your tax office, you're going to run into some issues. And especially you can't start a corporation by just, think you can just walk in and fill paperwork and walk out. He doesn't work that way. It costs thousands of dollars to set up a corporation in the country. And you need a lawyer to do it. There has to be a lawyer a part of that process. And so I say all this to say, honestly, that chapter that I do have in the book could be as simple as how many? Five words. Get yourself a lawyer. Okay, 3 words. Get yourself a lawyer, right? Get yourself a lawyer. Just that simple. I mean, it's just that necessary, right? And so please, so we talk about different structures that exist in the country in the book. But right away, I make it very clear, you need it, especially if you're not from here, you're from the diaspora, you're coming in, especially, even if you're here, you need that, but especially if you're here, I can't stress it enough. The way you structure that question concerns me because it's clear you don't know how Haiti works. And I don't want a bad experience to happen to you. Make sure you get in contact with the lawyer and have the lawyer guide you, a lawyer you trust. In fact, I have a chapter in the book that talks about how to find a good lawyer, because a lot of bad stories about lawyers, bad lawyers doing people in, right? So just be aware. Let me take care of this. Close this out. This should have been on D&D. Surprise. Okay, boom. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Got to wrap this up. Jupe says some key advice. Visit Haiti. You're absolutely right. Can we do an interview with you on our live show to talk about your work? Sure thing. Cause Sita. Feel free and send me an email. My email is in the description of this video. All my videos, in fact, every video I put has my email in it. So open up any of my videos on YouTube. You'll find my email and feel free and send that email. We'll chat. Annie Style, hey, SeeJeanty, doing a good job. Thank you, brother. I hope to see you again. Annie Style, hope you're subscribed. Thank you, Life of Simply Saying Journey. Appreciate that. And Left says the Parliament aren't the only ones who enjoy a lot of benefits. Judiciary as well. Yeah, judges are on vacation, I guess, but understand that judges are extremely underpaid. Judges in the country haven't received a raise in over 10 years, which is one reason that leads to, unfortunately, a lot of corruption. Because when you have judges that are so underpaid, it doesn't take much money to get them to go one way or another. I'm not saying any particular judges are corrupt, but certainly the structure to impact corruption is there when you haven't had a raise in over years. In fact, the budget has actually seen decreases for the judiciary every single year, right? And so that's one reason why they've been, a lot of them have been striking is because the lack of focus on the judiciary from Parliament and from the president, right, who drafts the budget, right? Ruben says, I was born in Haiti, parents born in Haiti, took 4 months to get my Haiti NIF passport driver license 2018. Thanks, Rubens, for sharing that. And it's proof that it can be done. I'm not going to ask Rubens how he did it because since there isn't a legal way to do it, I'm not going to ask questions. All right. Trade 24, international aid is what politicians like. They put money in their own pockets. The history has shown that to be the case. So I can't dispute that, unfortunately. Yaval came from IG to YouTube. Fantastic. Claudio Francois. Ayo, good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Melanie D. Hello, hello. Peter J. Tena. Hey, I know it's early. I have lots to do today. In fact, we're going to end this live really early so I can get to it. I'm going to have to skim through it first because we really have to get off air here. Monacolas Noel, if it's your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We usually have a much longer show. We usually have a show that we like to just kick back and really chit chat it up. So make sure you subscribe and catch next Sunday, and we can really get to know each other, right? I'm sure there's a lot of folks I see here. Betty Leville, what's up? Good to have you in the chat. The Startup Life, what's up? What's up, Whitney? Good to see you, Whitney, in the chat. Mike Charles, I agree with what you're saying. I am not a fan of many of the politicians that run this country, per anyone who knows me, right? Haiti Nation sensation. Airbnbs are very profitable, I could say, very profitable. Most Haiti Airbnbs stay booked most of the year, very profitable. So that's a business you should look into, Haiti Sensation One. Edwin, good morning and goodbye very soon. About to head out here. On the next SeeJeanty Live, can you talk about the back road of Jacmel? I already did, man. Under President sorry, the Kenskoff to Jacmel. Well, there is no road, right? There is no road. In fact, Reginald, I just dropped a new video, La Visite video, and that is the road. That is the road, and we could only go so far before we had to stop, and then we had to bike and motorbike, and then even then we could only go so far. We had to then the next part would have been just a straight up hike, right? So to be clear, there is no road from Kenskoff to Jacmel. All right, let's be very clear. And also means you haven't watched my episode, Reginald. So change that. We have a new SeeJeanty on location. Go watch my episode. What's the matter with you? Right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Edwin, and again, that's a wrap. This guy, I want to thank you so much. Usually our shows are from Sundays, 11 a.m. Right, so we had a lot of stuff we're having to do today, and so we had to be on live a little earlier. Remember, we have lots of SeeJeanty content. If you're first time watching it, go to the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/SeeJeanty.com, and hit that subscribe button. Let me type that in for you guys. If you're watching if you're watching this on Facebook, follow the page. Right, I drop all my content on the Facebook page as well. So if your Facebook's your preferred medium, make sure to go watch it there. But YouTube.com is the main driver, right? And so www.youtube.com/SeeJeanty. Go, hit that. Go check it out. Hit that subscribe button, and we have so much content. We've been at this for going on 2 years now, and so much cool stuff on that. So do go check that out, right? And of course, share the live. If you participated, if you dropped a comment, make sure you go share the live. We need clearer voices about what's going on in Haiti. It's not doom and gloom. It's not cannibalism. It's not just chaos. There's people living their lives, moving, making it happen, and there is progression happening in the country. There is progression happening in the country, and we have to be cognizant of that progression and understand that we need more progression, but there certainly is progression happening, and this is the space to talk about it, and so share it so other folks can realize there is a space to talk tête fouette with a cool analytical economic based analysis of what is going on in the country, right? Okay. All right, guys, that's it. We're out for the day. You'll be able to catch the stream. We'll be back next Sunday, 11 a.m. All right. Or maybe it might be a little earlier too. But anyways, just follow me on IG and Facebook, and you'll always know what time the show is going to be. And again, this is pre-recorded, so it doesn't matter. You're gonna be watching this after the fact, anyways. That's the beauty of lives that are recorded. Anyways, I'm out. As you guys know, this is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz News, and we'll be back at it again when we're back at it again. Peace.